Welcome to your Intentionally Fabulous tip of the day. I am Kelly Calabrese, and today we're talking about how to stop your old story from ruining your life. We are all storytellers, it's just natural. Even children are great at storytellers. And if you go back as far as the beginning of time, people told stories. So it's natural, it's how our brains work. But here's the truth, we tend to remember more painful stories than we do happy stories. And when we continue to repeat in great detail, because our brains remember them, these painful stories over and over and over again, they shape us, they shape our identity. It's who we become. And we wind up becoming someone who's living in the past in a painful story. So, and it also becomes how others relate to us because that's what they learn about us when we meet them, about that old painful story in the past. And you might be completely unintentional in telling this story, but it's just what you do, it's who you are. It is automatic because we're storytellers. But the stories influence your behavior, which means they're influencing your health, your relationships, what you do professionally, socially, emotionally, in every single area of your life. There's something in your brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And so it's looking for confirmation about your story, about why you were a victim, about why things were unjust, about why you should be sad. Your brain is looking for things to line up with that, and then you're always going to find them. So, for example, if your parents got divorced when you were a child and you believe that marriages don't last and love isn't real, and you are telling yourself this story, you will see it everywhere. You're going to see it in the movies, you're going to see it in your friends' parents and your own relationships. So, that negative narrative brings negative outcomes. It is just fact. It is how we are designed. But the good news is you can reverse that, right? Our brains are pliable. You can have plastic and elastic changes in your brain. So when we tell these negative stories, it creates stress in us, right? We can feel the anxiety, we can feel the tension. And then the people listening to the stories, they're experiencing that same vibrational victim energy. They're feeling sorry for you, they're feeling anxious with you, they're feeling sad for you. So you go around your life telling this story, making other people feel sorry for you or sad for you or whatever it is that your story is. So, how do we flip the switch, right? How do we change it? How do we get out of this? Well, one, you need to be aware. It's kind of like AA, right? First, you have to go, okay, I've got a problem here. I keep telling the same old story over and over and over again. Like if I say to you, if you're old enough, where were you at 9/11? You remember in great detail because it was a painful, massive event or a car accident. You remember. So we can erase and replace. It is possible. So you can look back on that story and look for the lesson in it and say, what's the blessing in it? What was good about it? What did I learn? What will I not do again because of that? And just replace it with something new, something positive, something you learn from it. That will start to help to rewire your brain, and then you can start to carry that forward. You can ask yourself, is this story really serving me? I remember a friend of mine, his young son had his license not very long and went out and went off the road in the snow in his car and called his dad and said, Dad, come get me. And the dad could hear he was pretty panicked, so he went out, and it was pretty bad. I mean, the car was off the road, kind of teetering on a cliff. And he said, "Okay, son, how long are you going to tell this story?" And the son was still, just so upset. And he said, "I give you 48 hours. And after that, don't tell the story anymore." The only reason to retell a traumatic story is if you're ahead of someone who's currently in that situation, and your story will somehow help or bless them or pull them up. Otherwise, we don't spend the time retelling that story over and over and over again because it's undermining you and it's undermining the person that you're connecting with. And you could be missing out on an amazing relationship because they don't know what's going on in your life right now. They just know traumatic things that happened in the past. And I'm guilty of this myself too. You feel like you needed to go back and give all this backstory of how you got where you are now. But what if you just said, I am, and this is what I do with power, with conviction, instead of telling the whole sad story that maybe brought you to this place, even if it's an empowering place. And I hope that it is. So, observe your story objectively. So, you want to do this when you're not in a place of stress and tension and anxiety. I mean, think about a toddler when they're at the point of they're hungry, they're tired, and they're in the candy aisle at the store, and it's just going to blow up, right? That is not the time to change behavior. We do it from a point of calm, of meditation, a place where the stress levels are low. That's when we can actually have some impactful changes on the brain. That's when we can rewire, when it's calm, not when it's stressed. So, when you're calm, and I hope every day you do some type of calming meditation, that's a good time to really reflect on the story objectively and how you can change it. Don't get attached to your story. It is in the past. And to be honest, it is not even exactly the way you remember it. As you continue to tell stories, we continue to embellish them. It's like two people who watched a movie and they saw it and told the story, they would get different things out of it. So you've added and altered your story somehow. I promise you, it's not even exactly the way you remember it, even if you have a great memory. So the bottom line is bad things will happen to good people all the time. It happens every day, regardless of how good you are, how great your intentions are. Bad things just happen. It is life. We're not going to get through this world without trouble, without hardness, without difficulty, without injustice. It is just life. But we get to choose, right? We get to choose what we do with it. So it is up to you. So I want to say today that peace begins with you. The past is in the past. Release it, erase it, rewrite it to be a positive story and be present. This is all we get. Get yourself in this moment and then start envisioning an amazing, exciting, incredible future. So I challenge you today to stop telling your old story if it's not serving you and the people that you meet. Look for the blessing in it, rewire your brain when you're at peace, and just get present, because present is where it's happening. This is the amazing moment where the magic happens. So I hope that intentionally fabulous tip helped you. If you'd like to get more tips like that, I would love for you to join my private Facebook group. It is free. It is called Intentionally Fabulous on Facebook. And it is specifically for women going through any stages of separation, divorce, post divorce. So I will see you back here tomorrow with your next Intentionally Fabulous tip of the day. You are awesome. Love you all. Thank you.